Mm,
Good afternoon, dear students. Kindly type in your USN for attendance sake. Yeah, good afternoon, dear students. Welcome back to our discussion on data structures and algorithms. Today, we are going to talk about control statements in C programming. So that is the agenda, and of course, as you know, control statements are those statements that are mainly used for decision making, selection of statements, and they are also used for iterations, and also they are also called as jumping statements. In fact, basically, if you want to tell about the definition of control statements enables us to specify the flow of program control. That is how, in which order the instructions in the program is going to be executed. So, for this, we have to make use of decision statements, that is if statement, else statement, selection statement, that is case statement, iteration statement, that is looping statements, that is for loop, while loop, do while loop, and jumping statements, break and continues. So this is the agenda of the day, right? So moving on to the decision making statements. When we think of decision making statements, so decision making statements are if a statement. So this is also called as branching statement. If a statement is also called as a branching statement, and this is used to work on condition. What is this condition? So you can ask me, sir, what is this condition is all about? This condition is nothing but it is the relational expression. So yesterday we have seen relational operators. So relational expressions will have these conditions. If condition, you can certainly have it with the relational expressions. So relational expression, and relational expression always written two values, either true value or false value. So relation expression, if I type one example, if a is a variable and you want to check a equal to b, you want to check whether a is equal to b. So this is a relation expression. In this case, if both are equal, it will return true. If they are not equal, then it will return false. So you have only two options. Either the expression will return true or false. When the expression returns a true, that means when the condition becomes true, what happens? This set of statements are going to execute. So this set of statements are going to be executed. So that is true. If the condition is true, then first set, this compound statement are going to execute. If it is false, that is else case, that means the condition is false, what happens? Next set of statements are going to be executed, that is else block is going to execute. So that is the thing that you should understand. And this is the syntax if condition statement. Condition statement is nothing but it is a relational expression that will return either true value or false value. Okay. So let us look into one simple example. In this example, you can see We are taking a number, enter a number. We are taking a number, and after taking the number, that is using scanf, we are taking a number, and we are checking the if statement whether a is greater than 0. If a is greater than 0, then you are writing the statement a is a positive number. In case if a is less than 0, then it is a negative number. And that is the thing that we should understand. And of course, the same program I have typed here. It is there in this particular link. You can just wait. It is going to take you to that particular program. Meanwhile, I just clear the screen. So same link I just copied and put it in the chat box. You can also simultaneously work. You can also simultaneously work. Yes. Yeah, this is the program link. So this is the program link. And of course, one small change that you can make is a is greater than or equal to, you can do. Suppose if a value is equal to 0, then also it is a positive number. Okay, right. So that is the thing. And of course, the input what I give for this is -4. If I give my input as -4, so what happens? Let us run my code. And as soon as I run my code, it is saying -4 is a negative number. So I just give +4 and try to run. So the same program. So it is going to run and give me the output. It is a positive number. N is a positive number. So this is what you should understand. Number n is a positive number. So this is one simple example that you should understand, right? So that is the thing. Now, after understood about this particular statement, if a statement, so a value, if it is more than 0, then it is positive, or else it is negative. So here itself you will have a branch. Next, nested if statements. So if a statement, if you join with another if statement, or if you include one if statement inside another if statement, then you call it as nested if statement. So you can see here is one simple example. Here is one example. Look at this example. So if condition, you are giving a condition, and if this condition, apart from this condition, if it is true, then it has to pass through another condition. There is another condition. So if both conditions satisfies only, then this statement is going to work. This statement is going to work if both statement, that is condition 1 and condition 2, both the conditions should satisfy. This is what you call it as nested if statement. One if statement is present inside another if statement. So if the first if statement is not at all satisfying, then automatically what happens, it goes to the else statement. Same way here also, you can see if there is a condition 1 and condition 2, you can see here the second condition is present inside else statement, inside else, along with else. So this is called else if ladder. This is also called as else if ladder. Okay, so you can have many else if statement like this, and finally you can have one else statement. So this we call it as nested if statement, nested if statement, and else if statement. For this, I have a very good example. Look at this example. Now, I want to find the largest of three numbers, that is A, B, C. Now I have given A value 6, B value 5, and C value 10. I have given A, B, C, three values. Now I have to find which is the largest number, which is the greatest number. In this case, what happens? I check whether A and B, I will check out of A and B which is greater. If A is greater, then B and C will be checked. Sorry, if B is uh, now if A is greater and you are going to check with the B and C, and of course finally you'll print A is greater. If of course if C is greater than A, then you will certainly say it is C is greater. So that means out of A and B, A is already bigger. Now you check with B and C. If C is smaller, then it is A is greater. If B is greater than C, that is, of course, C is A is greater. If it is not true, then you have a doubt whether A or C, any one is bigger. So you compare A and C. If C is bigger than A, then you certainly write it. So A is C is greater because already A is proved that is bigger than B. Now, if C is bigger than A, then it is indication that C is greater. So this is how it has to be done. This is how it has to be done. And look at here, one if statement is present inside another if statement. And you will also have, suppose if A is not bigger, now you check for else part, else B is greater than C. Now you check. If A is not bigger, then you check for B is greater than C. If B is greater than C, then you can certainly write B is greater, or else you can write C is greater. The same program is available in this particular link. I've typed it and it is ready. I just click on it so that it opens. Meanwhile, I just clear the screen. Yes. Now, the same code simultaneously, I copied in your chat box. I copy it in your chat box. So you can certainly take. This is the program. So this is the same program that is we are working on it. So when I run this, I have already given A, B, C value. So as soon as I run this program, so I just get the output. I just get the output. Greatest is 10. So out of A, B, C, so C is greater. So C is 10. So it is the same. The same program can be little modified. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, you print greatest is A, or else this condition is not at all required. So else, if A is not greater than C, it is so else if C is C is greater than B, then certainly you can write this. So you can modify like this. So this also works. So in this case, C is greater, that is 10. So that is how exactly if a statement, nested if a statement, else if a statement works with single example, one single example. So that is what we call it as this. Now, further, selection statement. Selection statement is nothing but the switch and case statement. Here, you will go to select the statement which is to be executed based on one relational expression. This relational expression always gives some value. So based on that value, what happens? The code will be executed. Code segment will be executed. So if this expression returns value 1, so then these two statements are going to execute. If it returns value 2, so then these two statements executes. Similarly, you can write number of values. Finally, value n, suppose if it returns value n, okay, it will execute this segment. If none of the values are matching with this expression, then the default is going to work. Default is going to work. And remember one thing, for every switch case statement, there is a mandatory break statement. You can ask me, sir, why mandatorily we have to write break statement? If you don't put break statement, what happens? After executing code segment 1, it will automatically go to the code segment 2, automatically go to the code segment 3, automatically goes to the code segment 4. So that is the reason this break statement is essential. After each code segment execution, so that it will go out of that particular switch statement. After executing that particular segment, it will go out. So that is the thing that you should understand. And to uh, tell about this, there is one more example. So in this example, what we can do is we are taking day number, and based on the day number, what we are doing, we are just printing whether it is Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday, or Friday, or sorted. So if none of the values 1 to 7, if you don't give, beyond that, if you give, I give 10, 10 which is not at all a number, so it will definitely give a message invalid choice. And of course, observe here, after each printf you have a break statement. After each case statement you have break statement. So the same program is available in this particular link. I just put that link into your chat box also. You can just go through it. Okay. So just put it in the chat box, where you can also simultaneously work on it. If you want to do any modification, you can also do it. Now, it is asking for the day value. Enter enter the day. So day value. So what I do, I give the day value as 4. And as soon as I give the value and I run this program, what happens? 4. So 4 means, so it will come here, Wednesday. Wednesday will be printed. Yes, Wednesday is printed. Suppose if I give the value 14, of course 14 is not at all there. Last is 7. So beyond 7, whatever you give, it will give default printf invalid choice. So if I run 14, day 14 is not there. So day 14 is an invalid choice. So case also works, default also works. This is the case. This is the condition. And let us move back to our slide. Yeah. So after understanding about a switch case statement, let us understand about iteration statements. Iteration statements means the statements that repeats based on some condition. It repeats some uh, set of statements based on that condition. If the condition is true, it will keep on executing the same statement. Until the condition is true, it is executed. Once the condition becomes false, it will come out of the loop. So that is the logic behind this. So you have 3 looping statements. That is while loop, do while loop, and for loop. So while loop, do while loop, and for loop. These are the 3 loops. So while loop, I think you know very well. You have a keyword called while followed by the condition and a set of compound statements. So if the condition is true, then it executes, keep on executing the statement. It keep on executing the statements. So it keep on executing the statements. So that is a thing. That is a thing that you should understand. And you understand the statements which are there inside the compound statement will execute repeatedly until the condition is true. Until the condition is true. So this is the case. This is the case that we are talking about. And of course, uh, here is one example. So In this example, what you are doing is you are finding the sum of digits. Sum of digits. Sir, what do you mean by sum of digits? Suppose if user enters here, user printf enter a number. If user enters 456, so what you will do? 4 plus 5 is 9, 9 plus 6 is 15. So answer is, sir, answer is 15, sir. This is the answer. So that 15th answer, whatever you are printing, it is going to print here. 15 is the answer. 15 is the answer. It is going to print. It is going to print here. So you have given the input 456 and it has separated all the digits and it has calculated the sum of all these digits. It is 15. So this is the program. This program is to find sum of digits. For this, first let us look into the loop. If n value, whatever the n value that we have entered. So n value what we have entered is 456. 456 is greater than 0. Yes, it is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then what it will do? It will first calculate a is equal to a modulus n. That means it will find the reminder. So if I divide this 456 by 10, I get the remainder 6. Look at here, it is there. I get the remainder 6. And this 6, what I'll do, I will add it to sum. So sum is initially 0, 0 plus 6. I add it, so it becomes 6. It becomes 6. Yes, it becomes 6. Sum becomes 6. Now, next step, what I am doing, third step, n is equal to n divided by 10. N divided by 10. So I divide this. Here I am finding the remainder, but here I am finding the quotient. Quotient means it is 45.6. Since n is a what? Integer, 45.6. 0.6 is negligible, and whatever the division 45.6 you get, 45.6. So 6 is, cancelled and only 45 is stored in n. 45 is stored in n. So the new n value 45 is stored. And after that, it will check while loop. Again, it will check while loop. Now, is n greater than 0? Yes. Is n greater than 0? Yes. So, n is greater than 0. So, in such cases, what happens? Uh, Look at here. If n is greater than 0, yes, in such cases, it will come back again. Again, it will perform 45 divided by 10, modulus 10. 45 modulus 10 is 5. So 5 will be added to sum. Sum is already 6. 6 plus 5. So now it becomes 11. It becomes 11. So final answer 11 is stored. 11 is stored back into sum. Now, n is equal to n divided by 10. So it is 4.5. Since 0.5 it cannot hold, so what happens? Only 4 new value is stored in n. Now, again you are checking for a while loop. Again you check for while loop. So inside while loop, n value is 4. So 4 is greater than 0. So then what happens? It will come to the next loop, iteration 3. In the iteration 3, what happens? If n is 4, iteration 3, n modulus 10, 4 modulus 10 is 4. Again, what happens? So 4 is added to 11. 11 is already the sum, previous sum. 11 plus 5, 15 is added. And when you divide, that is, when you divide n is equal to n divided by 10, so it becomes 0 0.4. 0 0.4 is, of course, 0.4 is negligible, 0 it becomes. So new value of n is 0. So when n is not greater than 0, so what happens? The while loop comes out. What is the next statement? Printf, the sum is equal to percentage D sum. That is, it will print 15. 15 is the answer. And return 0. The same program is available in this link. I think I'll just put the same link in the chat box also. I think you can just see. I'll put it in the chat box. Even simultaneously, you can work along with you. Along with me, you can also work. Yes, it is available in the chat. So meanwhile, I clear the screen. Now, the same program. So here input I have given as 456, and as I run it, what happens? It executes the program and prints. Yes, the sum of digits is equal to 15. Sum of digits is equal to 15. This is the answer. This is the answer. So that is what I am getting. This is what I am getting. So that's about while loop. Next, we have do while loop. In do while loop, what happens? In while loop, you are checking the condition before entering into the loop. But in do while loop, you allow the control to enter the loop once all the statements inside the compound statement executes. After once it executes, at the end, what happens? The while condition is checked and observed. So there is a semicolon for while. In while statement, there is no semicolon. In do while, there is a semicolon. Yes. And of course, if the condition is true, what happens? It re-executes all the statements. Again, if the condition is true, it again executes. If the condition is true, again executes. So this will be repeated until your condition becomes false. Condition becomes false. So this is do while loop. This is what you call it as do while loop. And of course, here is the same program that we have discussed in the previous. So finding the sum of all the digits. So the same. Instead of putting a while loop here, I put while loop here. Same condition, but there is a do statement. So same program is available in this particular link. So I'll just put that link in the chat box so that you can also simultaneously execute. Okay, the same do while, and I have given the input as 456, and as soon as I run this, what happens? 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 15. Answer is 15. I got. So same. So that's your do while loop. The only difference between do and while loop is while loop will check the condition at the end, but uh, while loop will check the condition in the beginning. Do while loop will check the condition at the end. So that is the only difference. Rest all same, but in a do while loop, at least once, even the condition is false, at least once the statements, all statements might have got executed at least once. Now, for statement. For statement is having initialization, condition check, and increment or decrement, and body of the loop. So in here, what happens? The initialization, n is what is the value? This is the value. So initialization is outside. Increment decrement is here. So n is equal to n divided by 10. So increment or decrement is happening, and processing are separate three statements, but all three statements, initialization, termination, and increment or decrement, is happening everything in one line, one statement. And if the condition is true, termination condition actually it is. If the termination condition is true, then it keeps on executing the loop. Once this becomes false, termination condition becomes false, it will come out of the loop. So here is one simple example. Look at here. You're asking for what is the value of n. Suppose I give 5. 5 is my value. So I starts from 0. You can see I value initialized to, and I value until it reaches 5 is less than or equal to 5. So it is keep on incrementing. First, it will print 0 in the first loop. Second loop, it will print 1. Third loop, it will print 2. Fourth loop, 3. Fifth loop, 4. And the last loop, it will print 5. So when I is equal to 5, so what happens? I equal to 5, so it prints. When I becomes, after this I plus plus, and I plus plus, that is 6, when it becomes 6, what happens? 6 is not less than or equal to 5, so it will come out of the loop. So that is return state. And remember the sequence of execution. Remember the sequence execution. First, what happens? Initialization happens. This is the first. Second, condition is checked. Condition is checked. If the condition is true, if it is true, then the third statement is executed. After the execution of the third statement, it moves on to the increment or decrement. So the fourth. And after this fourth, again, the condition check. It is second statement. After second statement, again, the body of the loop. If it is true, this is third statement is executed only if it is true. And of course, this condition, once this condition becomes false, so what happens? Your statement goes out. So the first statement, that is initialization, will be executed only once, whereas the condition will be checked at every time before looping. So it checks that the condition is true or false. If it is true, it executes. If it is false, it goes out of the loop. So the same is available in this particular link. We can have a look at this particular link, and the same link I'll post in the chat box. Everybody can work with me simultaneously. Meanwhile, I just clear the screen. Yeah, simultaneously. And now you observe, I'm entering 5, and I'm telling to run. Okay, so what it is printing? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is trying to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is my input. So input I have to give here. So if I give my input as 10 and run, so what happens? It will print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it executes. So this is how it works. Now, break statement. Break statement, when it is applied inside the statement of looping statement, what happens? It stops the loop there itself and it will come out. It will make the loop to come out. So normally it is used along with if-else statement inside the loop. You put a condition. If that condition satisfies, then you break it. So there are many examples you can certainly see. If there is a condition, it will break. If there is a condition, it will break. And of course, break statement, you can use it with the for loop. You can use it with the while loop, do while loop. Yes, same. So here is one example where this is a program to calculate the sum of numbers. If the numbers that you enter is a negative number, then loop should terminate. So what happens? You are trying to read a number. Okay, you can see scanf LF, that is long float, that is double number. So, and if you encounter it is a negative number, then you break it. Or else what you do, that whatever the number you input, it will be stored to sum, and finally, once the loop is done, you will terminate. So the same program I have given here, you can see, and the program link, I'll share it with you in the chat box. So you can also simultaneously work with me. And those who have not entered your USN for the attendance sake, still you can enter your USN in the chat box. Please enter your USN in the chat box if you are not entered. Okay, so in this program, so I have given a few set of numbers, and if as soon as it encounters negative number, what happens? It stops and it will find the total. The total is 13.90. So same, it will calculate this 2.5, 5.5, 10 point, sorry, 11.4, 13.4, and 13.9. Yes. Since minus 3 is a negative number, it stops. So this is how it runs. Next, continue statement. Continue statement is quite opposite of break statement. Break statement, what happens? It comes out, terminates. Whereas continue statement, it will stop the looping and it will continue the next iteration. It will continue to next iteration. So this is, and of course it can be applied. You can see it can be applied to while statement, do while statement, as well as the for statement. The same previous example we have done. If you have to keep on reading all 10 numbers, but if a negative number comes, then you should not calculate it for addition, that is sum. So this is the code. And of course, the same code I have typed, sorry, same code, it is there in the link. So, so I think it is less than 10 minutes. You can run, you can take a snapshot, you can run, or I'll share the same link with you and we can run it. And of course, that's all for this class. In the next class, we'll be discussing about arrays and functions. So thank you. All the class recordings are available in my website. There is sites.google.com view Satish KV. And remember one thing, if you want to access the material in this particular website, you have to log into your Google Classroom. If you are not signed up for Google Classroom, the link is there. Google Classroom link is there in the chat box. Just click it. You become a member. And once you become a member, log into your Google Classroom. Then you log into this website. Then you will be able to access all the condition, all the contents. That is the only condition. Thank you. Stay safe. Have a wonderful day. See you. Bye. Is there anybody, any doubts? You are most welcome. Whenever you have doubts, you can ask. Thank you.